is NJ, your host on this channel. In this video, we will have our discussion on the yearly predictions for the next year of 2023, customized to your Lagna or to your rising sign. So now friends, to begin with, like I have divided this video in two parts. In the first part, I will give you an insight the way slow moving planets and other planetary alignments is going to be influencing all of us on a global level. And then in the second section, we will try to get into the customized areas of your life, like your finances, your job, relationship, all sort of wish fulfillment, how the planetary vibration is going to be influencing you guys next year. And friends, if you have not watched my video for the numerology based calculation, it's my earnest request for you guys to watch that video as well, because from the numerology as well, via calculating the universal year vibration and your customized personal year vibration, you also get to know the theme for the next year customized to your life. So okay friends, before we will start our discussion, I just wanted to wish all of you guys a very happy new year. My earnest wishes that all of your wishes shall come true this year. All of the hard work which you have been putting in, you should get the result of all of your hard work, and this year should open the doors of prosperity, gains, all sort of benevolence in your life. So now friends, like just because I have already uploaded a video as per the numerology calculation, so we have to understand summarized synopsis from the numerology as well before we will dive into the astrology. So definitely friends, next year the energy is going to be of the number 7. If you are going to be making a sum total of 2023, it is going to give you the resulting number as 7, which is a number governed by or ruled by Ketu. So one thing is for sure, if you are going to be putting a lot of dedication, a meticulous approach and attitude towards work, if this is going to be your ethics, your work style in all areas of your life, definitely not only you will attain perfection, but also you will get all sort of due recognition for your hard work as well. Second thing is that friends, on a global level, definitely we cannot overlook this fact that next year in all those communities and countries where they are already going through the concerns of the religious persecution, religious intolerance, so that is going to be all-time high. Now this is one indication which is not only getting validated from the numerology but also from the astrology as well. Now friends, when we talk about in the areas of scientific discovery, innovation, space exploration, regarding that front, next year is creating a very positive energy. And lastly, definitely these days we all are diverging into the cryptocurrencies, all sort of parallel mode of payments and banking. So regarding that front as well, next year is creating a very positive energy. Now friends, shifting our discussion to the astrology. So picking the planet Saturn first and studying the contribution of Saturn throughout the next year. So friends, Saturn is going to be transiting in its Mool Trikona sign of Aquarius on January 17th. So now this is going to be a formal full-time entry of Saturn in this own sign of its. Now just because Saturn briefly transited the Aquarius sign during this year as well, it gave us this insight or a sneak peek, a kind of a trailer that what exactly Saturn has in its mind for us. But now once Saturn is going to enter Aquarius sign formally, all of those results will start getting manifested. Now you can also understand it in this way, that whatsoever hard work you have been putting in from the past 2.5 years, the result of all of your those hard work will start reaping results. Second thing is that friends, because within each zodiac sign there is the energy of 3 different nakshatras. So Satbhisha is going to be the forefront of manifesting the results of the Saturnian energy. Now it becomes very important to understand the innate qualities of the Satbhisha nakshatra. Now friends, as you know that Satbhisha constitutes of more stars than any other nakshatra. So that means that Sadbisha has got a lot of intellectual potential. Sadbisha has got a lot of healing potential. Sadbisha has also got a lot of spiritual potential as well. But like the way many like astrology researchers have come to this conclusion, that when we talk about the mental turmoil or mental anguish and fighting the inner demons, these are the areas where you have to control yourself. So now friends, definitely it all comes down to in which dignity this Sadbisha influence or Sadbisha energy is influencing you. Now let's say for example, if your moon nakshatra is Sadbisha, or your Lagan nakshatra is Sadbisha, or your 10th house lord is sitting in the Sadbisha, then definitely you will perceive or you will experience the Saturnian restraining influence to its intense way. And also friends, if your profession, your life hovers around the signification of the Sadbisha, where we talk about the engineering or technical pursuit, anything to do with the pharmaceutical industry, medicine industry, and these days, just because I keep on coming across these consultation queries that I want to make a foray into the herbs, into Ayurveda business, healing business, so definitely regarding all that front, this transit or this stay of Saturn in the Sadbisha will definitely kind of benefit you. Now friends, the innate quality or the essence of the Sadbisha is about secrecy and it's about scientific pursuit. So let's say for example, if you are a researcher in any field and you have devoted your heart and soul into your craft, so then during this year, this can actually give you some sort of discovery in your craft, in your given field as well. Because at the end of the day, the combined universal year energy as per numerology is of Ketu, which is also promising the similar thing. So very good year for people engaged in the healing business, medicine industry, pharmaceutical, technology, artificial intelligence. All those people will definitely get benefited. Now friends, one thing which I want to say over here is that because even my own moon nakshatra is Sadbisha. With Sadbisha, there has always been one thing which is always advised, that how you handle secrets, like it becomes very important for you. Like there has been all those cases where someone who got access to something which was hidden from the world, which become a reason for the success of that specific person. And in certain cases, just because a secret of this top politician got leaked out in the media, and which became a reason for the fall of that person. So how you manage the secrets and how much attention you give towards the spiritual religious austerities will be at its forefront when Saturn is going to be transiting in the Sadbisha nakshatra. And friends, it becomes very important for all those people like in whose case there has always been a temptation towards the intoxicants, drugs and all sort of hallucinations causing substance. You have to stay disciplined because Saturn's transit in the Aquarius, and within Aquarius in the Sadbisha, can create some trouble regarding the willpower and resistance in these areas. Now friends, because Saturn is going to be turning retrograde as well, so like from June 17 till November 4th, Saturn is going to be in a retrograde motion. So Saturn will start its retrograde journey from the Sadbisha's second pada and will end at the Dhanishta's fourth pada. So these are the time period when the restraining energy of the Saturn is going to be at its peak. Like Sadbisha might be carrying all the good qualities within itself, but when we talk about the mental anguish, so over there Saturn can cause lot of concerns, grave concerns. And also friends, because like the way whenever a planet is retrograde, it gives rise to its cheshta bal. So that is also going to be a time period where if you are abiding by a spiritually oriented, disciplined lifestyle, some breakthrough can also be made. Now friends, now shifting our discussion to understanding the behavior of the planet Jupiter. So guys, Jupiter will formally enter the sign of Aries on April 17th. Now friends, from Jupiter's perspective, which represents wisdom, fortune, good luck, so Jupiter's entry in the sign of its very good friend Mars can be seen as a very good sign, because all the Jupiterian wisdom will get the theme and platform of the fierce qualities of the planet Mars of Aries to manifest the results. But during this year, the vulnerability is that once Jupiter is going to enter the sign of Aries, it is going to come in the influence of the Rahu. So now friends, this influence of Rahu on the Jupiter is going to have a pros and cons attached to it. So the benefit side of this influence of Rahu on the Jupiter is that during this year, a lot many people will transition to different religion. People will transition from one faith to another faith, from one belief to another belief. Technology will play a very pivotal role in the transmission of the spiritual knowledge and wisdom. And also friends, regarding people taking interest and the acceptability of the alternative financial mediums like cryptocurrencies and all of that will also go all-time high during next year. And also friends, regarding the matters of the foreign travels or import export, regarding that front as well, the next year is creating a very positive energy. Now friends, when we talk about the vulnerable side of this influence of Rahu on the Jupiter, so now friends, definitely you will get attracted towards the foreign religion or different guru and teachers and mentors. Now on a financial plane, for the material plane, there couldn't be any better influence of Rahu on Jupiter. But when we talk about the spiritual aspect, when we talk about the true transcendental knowledge, wisdom, and specifically attracting all those guides and mentors who have got good interest in their heart for your well-being, for your growth, so all those areas are definitely going to be in the scrutiny. And guys, also because I mentioned this thing that the next year the universal energy is of 7 is of Ketu. So because all of this influence of Rahu and Jupiter is taking place in the Aries sign, so a lot of intolerance and contrasting opinion towards each other's belief and faith will get experienced, will come to everyone's notice next year. And also friends, like many times what has also been seen that because it's the energy of the number 7, so it will also unravel lot many secrets as well. That too, all those kind of persecution which has been done in the name of religion, which has been hidden from the people's or the public's eye, will also come to everyone's attention, everyone's notice. And lastly friends, if you want to understand the contribution of Rahu and Ketu next year, so friends, next year on October 30th, Rahu and Ketu are going to be changing their axis, changing their signs. So Rahu will make an entry in the Pisces sign being ruled by the planet Jupiter, and Ketu will enter the Virgo sign being ruled by the planet Mercury. So now friends, if you remember at the time when I uploaded a video on Rahu and Ketu's transit to the ongoing Aries and Libra, I mentioned this thing that although lot many astrologers are not in this favor that it is going to be manifesting good results, but I foresee that transit or this ongoing transit as still beneficial. But now friends, Rahu's transit in the Pisces and Ketu's transit in the Virgo is going to be very sensitive, very volatile, with extremities in store for everyone. Now it all comes down to individual. The dignity and role of Rahu and Ketu, nodes in your life, how they have manifested results so far in your life, their dignity. Are you also going through the dasha of either of the nodes? Is your profession straight away come in the purview of any of the nodes? Then it can get determined that in which direction they are going to be manifesting results. Because friends, definitely Rahu's influence on Pisces. Now Pisces is a very transcendental energy, and as you know that Rahu's influence on someone's emotional mental state, like Rahu's straight impact or influence on someone's natal moon, can make you very confused, can make you very delusional, can make you very obsessive. Like Rahu is the chief significator of all sort of psychological problems which are these days found in the society. And definitely Pisces energy can give rise to all these kind of confusion and delusion to its peak. And also friends, when we talk about Ketu's influence on the Virgo, so as you know that Ketu is a very spiritual planet, and Virgo is all about discipline, it's all about the material duties and responsibilities. So Ketu in the Virgo can also cause problem in the form of getting into like a sudden job change, transition in your portfolio, or people getting into unusual vocation, making some wrong choices at their professional front, giving rise to strong enmity, giving you powerful enemies. Now this could be real or imagined, but this could give rise to all these kind of circumstances as well. So now friends, the thin layer lies on your religious faith and how much spiritually oriented you are, because we cannot even overlook this fact that the overlap between the Ketu and Virgo is of the perfection. And when we talk about the mutual overlap of the qualities of the Rahu and the Pisces, so definitely friends, because Pisces has got a very transcendental vibration, and Rahu can actually make you completely submerge in any of the field where you are currently engaged in, like all these people who are in the foreign trade, cannabis business, or art and craft like filmmaking, photography and research exploration of any kind. So completely getting submerged in your craft can also be foreseen with this influence of Rahu in the Pisces. Friends, we only talk about the material side of the Rahu. Like definitely Rahu cannot make you very religious, that is for sure. But when we talk about the spiritual prospect, so you cannot even overlook this fact that out of all these three nakshatras of the Rahu, it's the Sadbisha which is considered as the epitome of spirituality. So definitely friends, it all comes down to the choices you make, the kind of role notes are playing in your life, and basis that you can determine that what kind of results from October 30th Rahu and Ketu are going to be manifesting in your life. So this is something friends which I wanted to say as a part of my inputs for this general universal trend and the behavior and movement of the slow moving planets next year. There are also certain signs which are going to be heavily getting influenced next year because of the movement of the planets, like for example Aries, where Jupiter and Rahu are going to be transiting, and Aries is also going to be receiving the third aspect from the planet Saturn. Then comes the axis of the Leo and the Aquarius, because friends, on Aquarius Saturn is going to be transiting, and Leo is a sign which is receiving aspect both from the transiting Jupiter and the Saturn, and Scorpio as well, because Scorpio is going to be receiving the 10th aspect of the planet Saturn. So okay friends, now we will shift our discussion to your customized Lagna, and we will try to understand the way next year is going to be turning out for you. So friends, we will first start with the kind of blessings which I have received as a part of your theme of this year from the major arcana tarot cards. So the card which has appeared as a part of your theme is the Empress card. So this is the card of Venus. So just the mere appearance of this card is a very good indication that in the prospects of matrimonial concerns, for wealth, for luxury, for enjoyment, this year is creating a very positive energy for your Lagna. Now guys, just because I have couple of other decks as well, so in the form of like which god is going to be acting as your guardian angel during this year, and what kind of blessings it is going to be bringing for you. So from my deck I received the card of the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So first we will invoke and do the mantra for the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. O incarnation of great munificence, O Krishna Chaitanya, you have come to give love of God to all the world. You are Krishna himself, but your color is golden. I pay homage to you. Now the blessings for you is a compassionate nature, love of God and humanity, munificence, charity and service, perfection in the chanting of God's name. Because guys, in your case, Jupiter is going to be transiting in your 9th house during this year, majorly. And guys, I also wanted to see that from the Bhagavad Gita deck of mine, which shloka and mantra has appeared for you. Now, the deeper meaning of this shloka, of this mantra, you have to decode it by yourself. So, it has, the card which has come is the card of the eternal soul. And the shloka is Na jayate म्रियते वा कदाचि त्रायं भूत्वा भविता वा न भूयः अजो नित्यः शाश्वतोऽयं पुराणो न हन्यते हन्यमाने शरीरे. So which can be translated as, for the soul there is neither birth nor death. The soul that is will never cease to be. It is unborn, eternal, ever existing, undying and primeval. It is not slain when the body is slain. So guys, looks like this year has got a lot of wealth potential, lot of wisdom potential hidden for you or awaiting for you. So okay guys, now we will shift our discussion to the astrology. So first we will try to understand a overall snapshot of this year for you. So now as you can see that Jupiter is going to be transiting in your 9th house during this year, but the catch over here is that once Jupiter will enter your 9th house, it is going to get conjunct with Rahu. Now guys, I want to be very honest with you, just the individual presence of Jupiter in the 9th house is like the best of the blessing, but because of the influence of Rahu. So now I want to be very honest over here from the material prospect, like this is an ideal combination which can actually awaken your fortune with the support of the foreign people due to the travel, or if you have any of the concerns of relocation, migrating to a new country, starting a new life in a new country. So all those new beginnings can be foreseen with this entry of Jupiter, the planet of fortune, which also becomes a very auspicious planet for you guys. So its entry in your 9th house can be seen as a very good sign. Now I want to be very honest over here that from the material prospect, this entry of Jupiter and the influence, most importantly influence of Rahu on Jupiter from the material perspective, can still be seen as very good. But when we talk about the spiritual aspect over there, you have to stay firm in the path of dharma, in the path of righteousness, because this is what the wheel of illusion of Rahu is, where it can actually kind of create those illusions, those temptations around you to deviate you from the path of righteousness. Now guys, talking from the perspective of Saturn, so definitely Saturn will be finally coming out of your 6th house and it is going to be entering your 7th house. Now guys, honestly speaking, we do not need any proof. There has been a lot many Leo Lagna people who either manage to reach the top position in their chosen field, who tend to do very good in the fields of art, entertainment, creativity, and I have seen a lot many self-employed people who are governed and who are being ruled by the Leo prominence in their life. So definitely 7th house is the actual house of business, of commerce and trade. So whatsoever hardship you would have done in the past 2.5 years, like guys, basis your Lagna, I would not say that Saturn, obviously Saturn sees your ascendant lord as its enemy. Saturn is not a benefic planet for you guys. It's one of the most malefic planet for your Lagna, but still basis its transit in the 6th house, where Saturn is also the significator, Karaka of the 6th house. So I'm not sure whether Saturn gave you a launch pad opportunity in the past 2.5 years or not. Now guys, you have to be very honest, you have to do this self introspection. Saturn's influence and presence in Capricorn has nothing to do with reaping the results. It has everything to do with sowing the seeds. So whatsoever hard work you have done, whatsoever hardship you have endured in the past 2.5 years, the result of that could manifest during this year with the entry of Saturn in your 7th house. Now just because whether you have your own business or whether we look at this presence of Saturn from the matrimonial concerns perspective as well, many times Saturn increases the responsibility, answerability. Now this could be within your family life, or if you're holding a public seat. So people start judging you, they start expecting a lot from you. So this is how Saturn can start manifesting results. But from the commerce and material perspective, Saturn's presence in the 7th house can be seen as a very good sign, and all those people who have any sort of political aspiration, this can be seen as a very blessed transit of Saturn in your 7th house. Now guys, looking from the perspective of Rahu and Ketu in your case, so guys, just because see, Rahu is going to be spending a major time in your 9th house. After that, on October 30th, Rahu will move to your 8th house. Now, that could be a little bit sensitive time, because first of all, Rahu is not very well placed in the Pisces sign, and over and above that, 8th house has got a lot of secrecy involved over there. So I would say that whatsoever kind of associations you have, in whichever field you are engaged in, and let's say for example if you're also working in the fields of Rahu, or Rahu is active currently in your life in the form of Mahadasha, then I would say the time period till October is very beneficial. But after, like when Rahu will enter your 8th house, that too in a sign of agitation, so I would say doing remedies for Rahu will become very important. And let's say for example if in your line of work too much of the daringness, underhanded activities, or like association in a business where alcohol, liquor, casino, all these things are involved, those people can get benefited. Also people engaged in the fields of occult or research can also get benefited, but still even after that you have to do the remedies when Rahu will enter your 8th house. From Ketu's perspective, so again guys, I want to be very honest over here, from after October 30th, once Ketu will enter your 2nd house, that is going to be a very sensitive alignment, specifically in the matters of your finances, your terms within your family members. From the spiritual perspective, like Ketu's presence in the 9th house, 2nd house is a very good time for doing the worship to your Kul Devta, to your family like God, and honoring your family traditions and rituals. But from the material perspective, financial gain perspective, Ketu's presence in the 2nd house is always a very cautionary, very alarming sign. So okay guys, this is what the overall snapshot of your next year is. Now before I will start looking at all the houses individually, let's first look at your 1st house. So the next year, the most benefic thing for your Lagna is that your Lagna is going to be receiving aspect from two very important planets, like because Jupiter is going to be aspecting your 1st house, your Lagna, with its 5th aspect, and Saturn is going to be aspecting your Lagna with its 7th aspect, which can be seen as a very good sign. Like the way guys we say this thing, that whensoever big things need to happen or have to take place, specifically from the external circumstances, so over there we always look at the transit of Saturn and Jupiter. Are they promising that? Are they supporting it? Because Jupiter is the significator of good luck, of fortune, and Saturn is the significator of your deeds, responsibilities, accountability, the result of your actions, your karma. So I would say that if you are planning to start working on some new ventures or any of the important lifetime events, like planning to get married, planning to buy your 1st house next year, so all those big lifetime decisions or events can take place in your life, because the way planets are going to be aspecting your 1st house. That is something which I want to say as a part of your theme, or as a part the way your Lagna is going to be receiving aspect next year. Now friends, looking at the prospects of your 2nd house. So just because Mercury has got the rulership of your 2nd house, like Mercury is the actual treasurer for your Lagna, because both the houses of income, opportunities, supplementary income, and your financial inflow is being governed by Mercury. So guys, Mercury is going to be in a very strong dignity, barring just 2 months. Like I would say that in the month of January, your 2nd house lord Mercury is going to be transiting in your 5th house. It is going to be retrograde, so that is going to be a month when you have to remain a little bit cautious of your speculative interest, speculative actions, your investments. And also in the month of May as well, Mercury is going to be transiting in your 9th house in an enemy sign. It is going to be in the influence of Rahu, and it is going to be retrograde as well. So the month of January and May, you have to remain cautious pertaining to the matters of your financial investment and your financial decision making. And I have already mentioned this thing, that after October 30th, once Ketu will enter your 2nd house, I would say that right from that day, right from that time, start keeping a portion of your income for some charitable uses, And specifically here, I'm not talking about general charity, which could be a domain of Saturn as well, philanthropic causes. When we talk about Ketu, it has more to do with the spiritual reasons, like supporting a church, supporting a mosque, supporting a temple. So yes, that is a thing which you have to maintain as a part of your habit. When Ketu will enter your second house, the month of January and May, you have to remain cautious. But apart from that, I have already explained this thing. Basis the way planets are influencing you next year, I'm actually looking at some very important financial decision, acquisition of wealth, and specifically even from the perspective of some paternal ancestral property and wealth as well. Your 8th house lord transiting in the 9th house, that aspect is also getting supported. So overall, a very good energy pertaining to the matters of your family life and your financial prosperity next year. Now guys, looking at the matters of your third house. So now guys, try to understand over here, like individually when Ketu was transiting in your third house. So like Ketu's transit specifically from the material perspective is not a very positive influence. Like definitely Ketu is a significator of courage as well, of strength as well, of accomplishment as well. Ketu represents the flag. So, but again, when we talk about initiatives, support from our near and dear people, from our siblings, from the community, from our friends. So I would say Ketu's presence in the third house many times creates an energy of separation or detachment. But the blessing in disguise is that once Jupiter is going to enter your 9th house and Ketu will start receiving aspect from Jupiter, all the matters of the third house will get a boost next year. Guys, it's a universal fact. When we talk about out of all the planets, it's the Jupiter only which Ketu pay heed to or Ketu respects. So guys, definitely in the matters of your third house, next year is creating a very positive energy. Like specifically, like the year will start on this note when your third house lord and the 10th house lord Venus is going to be transiting from your 6th house. So definitely during that time, if you are in a position of power, if you have to appear in any sort of competitive exam, you have to apply for any loan, you can get success in those endeavors, because even after that Venus is going to get conjunct with Saturn in the 7th house, which will again be seen as a very good sign for your commercial aspiration. And after that Venus will get exalted in your 8th house. So overall friends, only the 2 months, like I would say the month of August and September, when Venus will go retrograde, and this retrograde movement like back and forth is also going to take place in your 12th house and the 1st house. So these are the 2 months when you have to remain a little bit cautious pertaining to the matters of your initiatives, your communication, support from your friends or any sort of public dealings. You have to remain a little bit cautious. But apart from that, except than the month of August and September, in rest of the part of the year, I'm not seeing you vulnerable or prone in any of the matters of the third house. And definitely Jupiter's entry in your 9th house will definitely reinforce and replenish all the areas of your third house. Like if you have been facing a heat ever since Ketu has entered your third house, like in the matters of the support and your initiatives, well calculated decision, I would say next year will definitely give you the right set of thrust, support which you have been seeking or which you have been needing in the matters of the third house. Now guys, looking at the prospects of your 4th house. So definitely guys, in the matters of your 4th house, your 4th house lord is planet Mars, which is somehow going to be spending a lot of time in your 10th house in the Taurus sign. So Mars will start its journey of 2023 from your 10th house, and it will end the year coming back to your 4th house in the Scorpio sign. So this whole axis, like the houses which come from the 10th house and reaching till the 4th house, these are some of the houses which tells about your outdoor activities, about your confidence, about your initiatives, your support within the community. So I would say Mars's transit is actually supporting the fruits and success in the areas of your 4th house. Second thing is that guys, just because Saturn is also going to be aspecting your 4th house with its 10th aspect, and I always say this thing, the 10th aspect of Saturn has got a lot to do with giving us the results, like it is kind of a judgment giving aspect of the planet Saturn. So overall friends, a very good energy in the matters of the 4th house. Now whether you are going to be a first time house buyer, or you professionally you are a realtor, or any of the concerns of the acquisition of the all those entities which brings comforts, enjoyment, luxury, happiness in our family life. So this year is creating a very good energy of success in the areas, in the matters of the 4th house. The only thing is that friends, because when we talk about the intangible aspects like the well-being of your mother or your own inner emotional state, over there you have to resort to some healthy lifestyle, taking out time for doing yoga, meditation. All of that will become very important, because Mars is going to be, see, whenever a planet aspect back its own house, it protects the signification of that house. But just because Mars is going to be transiting your like 11th house, then the 12th house where it is going to get debilitated, Saturn is already aspecting your 4th house, Mercury is also going to be briefly retrograde during that time. So those are the times when you have to give attention towards your emotional well-being. But when we talk about the success in the areas of the 4th house, this year is creating a very positive energy for a lot many Leo Lagna people. Now guys, when we talk about the prospects of your 5th house, which tells about your academics, your intellectual pursuit, your love, romance, all sort of spiritual interest. So guys, this year is going to be creating a very good Raj Yoga, because your 5th house lord is going to be transiting to another trine house. So a very good year for getting success in the matters of the 5th house. And there couldn't be any better combination, like just because 9th house, which also tells about higher studies, it has to do with the foreign lands, foreign travels as well. Rahu, which is the significator of the foreign entities. So for all those students who are planning to look for overseas settlement, overseas admission in a university, PhD enrollment, or let's say for example all those people who are going to be completing their school, their college next year, so the chances are going to be very strong that you might get the placement in your desired college as well, in your desired company as well. So for getting that on campus placement and all of that, finding your that dream job as well, next year is going to be creating a very strong energy for the Leo Lagna people. So definitely guys, I'm not seeing you guys vulnerable in any way, like just because many times people say this thing that whenever the 7th house lord or 5th house lord is coming in the influence of Rahu, this is an ideal combination of love marriage, getting attracted towards someone who has got different background than of yours, different culture, different ethnicity. So all those things can be foreseen with this alignment. But just because guys, Jupiter, the most auspicious planet, has got the rulership of your 5th house, it is going to be transiting in another auspicious house. So in your case, Rahu is not gonna have a major power or major control to contaminate the true authentic signification of the Jupiter. So I would say whether we talk about higher learning, travel, exploration, overseas interest, success in your romantic endeavors and all of that, next year is creating a very positive energy for a lot many Leo Lagna people in the matters of your 5th house. Now friends, when we talk about the prospects of your 6th house, now from the past 2.5 years, Saturn, which is the significator of hard work, 6th house, which is the house of the hard work, so Saturn must have made you work very hard. I'm very much sure of that. So definitely friends, the result of all the hard work which you have been putting forth will start coming in once Saturn will transit to your 7th house. And definitely guys, Saturn's presence in whichever house is not a very pleasing experience. But again, it all comes down to whether you are a kind of person for whom work is your life, you worship your work, you are a very workaholic person, then I'm very much sure you must have enjoyed this presence of Saturn in your 6th house as well. But in many cases, friends, like Saturn is the planet of karma, in whichsoever house Saturn transit, our tests and trials in the matters of that house start getting taking place. So I would say that unless and until you have not faced the heat in the matters of the lawsuit and the concerns of debt and the concerns of the health, these are the areas where Saturn, if is not working positively in your life, can create a lot of problems. So whatsoever would have been the case in all these areas, the blessing can be experienced once Saturn will transit to your 7th house. So definitely guys, I'm actually looking forward to a relief in the pressure which you might have faced in the past 2.5 years in your work front. If you have been battling with any of the intermittent concerns of health, on and off concerns of health, Saturn's shift to the 7th house will also give you a relief in all those areas as well. And also guys, I would say that the way Jupiter's transit and Saturn's entry is gonna be shifting their places next year, this year is also indicating success in the matters of the lawsuit as well, for all those people in whose case this is getting qualified. So I would say guys, whatsoever you have sown in the past 2.5 years pertaining to the matters of your 6th house, at your work life, at your skill, at your craft, whatsoever things you are passionate towards, the result of that is not very far, and next year will definitely bring a relief in the matters of your health, can be attached as a theme of your next year. Now guys, looking at the matters of your 7th house. So definitely guys, Saturn's presence in the 7th house, like the way I explained that at the beginning of this video, is like a blessing in disguise. Like, because this is the original house in the original Kalpurush Kundli where Saturn attains exaltation. And Aquarius is a sign of humanitarianism, it's a sign of innovation, many breakthrough in the research. So I would say that this is a very good placement in any of the areas, and specifically if you somehow deal with the masses. If dealing with mass media is an integral part of your line of work, then definitely next year is going to be a very important year for you. The only concern is that guys, like when we talk about the matrimonial concerns, so over there Saturn can suddenly enhance the accountability, responsibility towards your partner, your matrimonial life. But apart from that, when we talk about the material aspect, commercial aspect, enhancement of the public image, reputation, because guys, try to understand this thing. From over here, Saturn not only aspects your 1st house, it also aspects your 4th house as well, which as per the work of many prominent astrologers, like they see 4th house as the house of throne, so the another house of the masses. So because of which, a very good year for people connected with public, mass media, and success in your commercial interest. And this year is also creating a very good energy whether you are thinking about making any shift, even regarding the perspective of making any transition in your life. Because see, the thing is, Saturn's presence in the 7th house acts like a balance. It acts like a pivot point. It acts like a balancing factor. So Saturn is not gonna make anything go lopsided. So let's say, for example, if from a secure job, from past so long you have been thinking that you are not getting the worth of your capabilities in job and you want to transition to a business. So for any of the transition as well, next year is creating a very smooth energy for you, because Saturn is going to be balancing your whole life from a very balanced house in your chart, in your lagna. So definitely guys, a very good year pertaining to the matters of the 7th house, just only in your matrimonial life. Give attention towards that you are not behaving, or marriage or relationship is not becoming very dry, very mechanical. Over there you have to give attention. Now friends, looking at the matters of your 8th house. So guys, your 8th house rulership has gone to the planet Jupiter. Now see, try to understand this thing. Jupiter in your case has got the rulership of your 5th house and your 8th house. That is the only reason we say this thing, that somehow Leo Lagna people tend to remain very religiously driven, very research driven, because the planet of religion, of faith has got the rulership of their one house of their intellect, of their thought process, and another house of probing and going deep within. So definitely guys, in the matters of the 8th house, I'm seeing some very good breakthrough, like specifically if you are engaged in any form of research, anything to do with occult, anything to do with the sadhana, next year can prove to be very beneficial for you. Now one thing which I want to make it very clear, because guys, whenever we talk about the 8th house energy out of all the 12 houses, like definitely there are other Dushtana Bhava as well, like we have 6th house, we have 12th house, and there are other mild malefic houses as well, but the only house which is responsible for suddenly creeping out some scandal, unpredictable, unpleasing event in our life, that is only the domain of the 8th house. Now your 8th house energy and the 8th house lord is going in a auspicious trine house, but again the influence of Rahu is going to be there, and somehow your 8th house is in the influence of Rahu next year, because in the first half your 8th house lord is going to be in the influence of Rahu, and after that, after like October 30th, just in the last 2 months, then Rahu is going to enter your 8th house. So I would say that for any sort of underhanded activity, unethical activity, not being very careful while dealing with the sensitive matters, and let's say for example, if in your dasha cycle as well, Jupiter is right now active, Rahu is right now active, so I would say that doing certain remedies, following proper rituals, and while undergoing or initiating any important process, any important thing, giving attention towards the muhurta, towards the transit of the moon, of the planets, so all of that will become equally important. So summarizing it, connected with the 8th house, anything to do with the research, exploration, anything to do with the passive income, gaining inheritance, wills, legacies, people connected with the fields of insurance, revenue, research, being engaged and inclined towards sadhana, spiritual austerity, next year is creating a very positive energy. But when we talk about the unpredictability of fickleness or suddenly energy of scandal making you vulnerable or being prone towards that, so regarding that you have to do proper remedies if in any way either Jupiter or Rahu is right now active in your dasha. Now guys, talking about the matters of your 9th house. So not only Jupiter and Rahu are going to be transiting in your 9th house, but also Saturn is going to be giving its third aspect to your 9th house as well. So that in itself is giving a lot of weightage to your 9th house next year. So definitely guys, because see, this has been a universal fact that Rahu's strong presence in the 9th house is generally a significator of fortune getting awakened in foreign land or anything to do with the foreign entity or foreign element. So regarding that front, I would say that if your life, your calculated plans for the next year somehow has any foreign travel, foreign exploration or foreign settlement, if any of these entity is getting qualified in your case, then next year can prove to be very fruitful for you. Now when we talk about the religious aspect of the 9th house, your terms with your father, with your teachers, with your guide, and most importantly, what kind of teachers you will get attracted towards. Over there is going to be a very sensitive, vulnerable energy which is going to be bothering you, because Rahu's influence in the 9th house many times gives us fascination towards all those people whose influence could be questionable in our life, or these could be the people who might not have very good intention for us. So that is the only reason guys, I already mentioned this thing, this conjunction and this whole combination taking place in your 9th house could be very good for the material aspect, but the dharma one thing, your religious faith is one thing, where you have to remain firm. Like the way we say this thing, only if you protect the dharma, religion or dharma protects you. So just remain firm in that direction. And I would say that whether even if your business is somehow connected with the ninth house, like you are in banking, in teaching, in law, so all those people can get benefited. 3 planets in a combined way influencing your ninth house is a very good energy to get success in the matters of the ninth house. Now friends, looking at the prospects of your 10th house. So definitely guys, your 10th house lord is the planet Venus. Venus is going to be starting the year on a very good note. And guys, even if you will look at over here, because somehow Venus has got a very strong affinity with the Ketu as well. And next year, like this is a concept from the Lal Kitab. And next year, because if you will make a sum total of the 2023, it is going to give you the number sum total as 7, a number ruled by the Ketu. Now Ketu also has got a co-rulership of the Scorpio, which falls opposite to your 10th house in the 4th house. So I would say overall energy is very positive at your work front. Like you are definitely in a position of power for taking some important decision at your work front, enhancement of your public image, and life bringing lot many opportunities for you. And specifically, I want to be very honest, for all those people who are engaged like right now in your life, either you are planning, you are going through that phase of studies, education, wrapping up your research, or you are in your own business, or you are connected with the mass media and you are connected with the government or politics. So this year can prove to be very beneficial, very fortune awakening for all those Leo Lagna people, the way the whole combination of the planets are going to be influencing you. And guys, your 10th house lord and the 3rd house lord Venus is going to be starting the year on a very good note, covering the access from the 6th house, reaching till 8th house, and even when it will enter your 9th house, it is also friendly with Rahu as well. So overall, I'm not seeing you guys very vulnerable. It's just the 2 months, like the month of August and September, when your 10th house lord is going to be retrograde. So over at that time, you have to remain cautious, because your 10th house lord is going to be getting retrograde in the axis in the house like 12th house and the first house. So your 10th house lord going back and forth in your 12th house and the first house, those are going to be the times when you have to remain very cautious, very careful of your actions, of your terms with the feminine influence in your life. Because guys, in your case, whether we talk about from the 10th house perspective, which has got a sign of the planet Venus, a feminine planet, and also in your 12th house as well, there is a feminine energy over there as well. So I would say that during this year, one thing which I want to make it very clear with you is that specifically in the case of all those people who are interested in females as their partner, you have to remain very ethical. Your conduct has to be very righteous towards the feminine influence. Otherwise, any of the misconduct or disrespectful treatment towards the female influence around you can actually land you in trouble or can create obstacles in the path of your success. But apart from that, I'm not seeing you guys any vulnerable in the matters of your 10th house. Next year is going to be giving you lot many opportunities which will enhance your reputation, your public image. Just the 2 months of August and September, you have to remain little bit cautious. Now guys, looking at your 11th house. So definitely guys, in your case, Mercury has got the rulership of your 11th house. And definitely if you will see, your 11th house lord Mercury is just going to be prone and vulnerable in 2 months, like in the month of January and May, when it is going to be retrograde and in some sensitive houses and in some very inimical influence. So those are the times when you have to remain very cautious of not falling prey to any Ponzi scheme, any online scam or fraud, and also not disrespecting your guides, your mentors, your teachers. So those are the few like months, like the month of January and May, you have to remain cautious. But apart from that friends, when we talk about the prospects of the 11th house, from over here we look at your networking, we look at your ultimate vision for the life, all sort of gains and incoming opportunities. So definitely your air houses, like it's not only the 11th house but also 3rd house, 7th house, are in some positive strong influence. But again, the influence in your other air houses is also very karmic in nature. So it all comes down to with how much authentic intentions you associate with people, how much you are authentically contributing to your community, towards your friends, in any group you are, like whatsoever group you are a part of, with how much authentic and good intentions you are contributing your efforts in any of those group setting, that will determine the outcome of that. So overall friends, the community and your friend circle, your influence will increase and will prove to be very fruitful, very supportive next year for any of your endeavors. Now friends, looking at the prospects of your 12th house, which tells about your overseas interest, which tells about your spiritual inclination, any of the concerns of expenses and losses. So now guys, the good part over here is that from the past 2.5 years, when Saturn was transiting in your 6th house, it was giving the straight aspect to your 12th house. So now just because when Saturn will move to your 7th house, finally your 12th house is going to be kind of devoid of any malefic influence of Saturn's aspect. Because guys, many times what happen is that when we talk about the 12th house related fears and phobias and restlessness, so Saturn can add fuel to that. So definitely you will find relief in the matters of the 12th house. And also guys, like the way the other planets contribution is coming in next year, so I would say that for any of the concerns of overseas settlement, next year is going to be giving you lot many positive opportunity for that. And lastly guys, for anything to do with the spiritual austerity, because the influence of Jupiter and Rahu in your 9th house is going to be creating a lot of energy of turmoil. So you have to remain firm in your faith, and specifically, like I would say that for anything to do with the like next year can also facilitate lot many travels or pilgrimages to some foreign country as well. Like you are living in the West, but you might be very much inclined towards the Sanatan Dharma, you want to travel to Vrindavan, you want to travel to Kashi, Vishwanath, Banaras. So this is the kind of energy which is going to be getting generated. I have already mentioned this thing. The whole next year's energy is of number 7 Ketu. Second thing is that the influence of Rahu on Jupiter in the 9th house will definitely make people get inclined towards foreign religion, foreign culture, foreign faith. So when I use the word foreign, so foreign from your own faith, from your own belief. But as you know that there is one energy which resides within all of us. But yes, next year will give you answers to lot many of your spiritual quest for sure. So this is something friends which I wanted to say as a part of my inputs for this yearly prediction for the Leo Lagna people for the year of 2023. For further more updates and notifications on the divine science of Vedic astrology, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and like my Facebook page. Dhanyavad.